Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Steve with Mission Uber, the YouTube channel that documents my journey as I drive down my debt, which you see right there. Oh, wrong way. Right there. Working on it, slowly but surely, getting it down, having fun doing it. I have more fun when it's gone. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Quick little live stream. I got to go live every Saturday night because, the show must go on. You got to be consistent in this YouTube channel content creating world. And I was out all day, had stuff to do, and it was my anniversary. So took my wife and my kids out for a little food. It was delicious. We went to a Japanese place. You ever gone to one of those Japanese places where they cook the food in front of you? And the guys do all the things with the spatulas, and they flip the stuff up in the air, and they throw stuff at you and make you laugh. That's what I did. That is what I did. I got to fix this over here. Boop. There you go. Oh, much better. Hey, this channel is sponsored by The Heart Life. Make sure that you get into shape one way or another. You don't have to call The Heart Life to get into shape, but you should. And thank you very much for the happy anniversary message there. But if you want to get in shape, and you should get in shape, and you want to get, a little, advice, some products, inspiration, give The Heart Life a hit up The Heart Life. They sponsor the channel, and they would appreciate it. Make sure you mention Mission Uber if you do it. That'd be kind of cool. Got a lot of people watching these live streams after I air them, and that's kind of cool. Not a lot, but, a couple dozen, few dozen, and I appreciate that. Going to be talking here about driving Uber, driving Lyft, doing side hustles and dealing with drunk people, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what could happen, what you don't want to happen. But first, remember, if you're catching this little live stream after it already aired, I'm giving away $1,000 at the end of 2021. Yeah, somebody's going to get $1,000. So I got to mention it every single time I do anything. And all you got to do is just subscribe. Subscribe, and you're going to have a chance. I am going to, however, require you to kind of check in once in a while and message on a video here or there, because I would hate to just give $1,000 away to one of those bots that get on your channel and leave a message with time code 062. What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means when somebody gets on your YouTube channel and leaves a time code? I don't have to look that up. I don't understand what that is. But anyway, $1,000 at the end of 2021 to somebody, it'll be just in time, maybe for Christmas, or at least maybe to pay off your Christmas balance on one of your credit cards. Don't use your credit cards. Cut up your credit cards. Don't use your credit cards. You don't need to use credit cards. Get your balances paid down and never use them. Just never use credit cards. Even, if you have to have one in case of just a horrible, unexpected emergency, okay. A credit card, maybe for that. But what you really need to do is save money in the bank and pay cash for stuff. If you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. Don't get it. Don't put it on a credit card. Nothing. No debt at all. Student loans, nothing. Nothing. Don't get into debt. Okay. Sorry. On a little bit of a rant there. What I'd like to talk about is drunk people. Drunk people are crazy. Drunk people can be annoying, frustrating, and dangerous. And, we all had a few too many. I've had a few too many on occasion. Not my, best moments of my life. But, at least I kept it in control. Some people can't control themselves when they drink too much. At all. And there's different types of drunks. You got the happy drunk, the people that just keep hugging on you, and they love you, man. I love you. I love you so much. I just need you to know. That's kind of me. And then you have the moody drunks, right? You have people that get really fired up and they bang on tables and, they're annoying and obnoxious. But then you have the drunks that get violent. And it's like all of the things in their life that they feel frustrated and angry about, they start taking it out on people around them. Those are the type of drunks that, none of us want to run into. Am I starting to lag a little bit here? Looks like I'm starting to lag a little bit here. Hopefully we can get through. This is going to be a short stream. What made me think of doing this stream about drunks is a story that just happened in Tampa, the Tampa area. A Uber driver picked up a drunk, and I've picked up many in my life. And I'm going to go into a little bit of like tips and ideas that I have when it comes to dealing with drunks. I'm not sure there's any tip when it comes to dealing with this particular drunk that this guy picked up in Florida. But we'll talk about it on the other side of this news report out of Tampa. Check it out.
I'm seeking out psychologists because it really was like emotionally traumatizing for me.
That Uber driver says he was scratched, strangled, and bitten by his passenger. And today, he shared details about his horrifying experience exclusively with 8 on Your Side. Christine McClarty joins us live from Pinellas County. You could tell he is still shaken, that driver, Christine.
He really is. He says the whole 10-minute experience will stay with him for life. He says that he was in the driver's seat of the Uber when the passenger sitting right behind him lunged forward and began strangling him. 22-year-old Michael Hassey Jr. says around 5 o'clock Saturday night, he responded to a ride request in front of Cask Social Kitchen in Tampa.
I called the Uber for my mother. Can you please get her home safe?
Hassey Jr. says 55-year-old Michelle Stillwell was asleep most of the ride until a few blocks from her home in unincorporated St. Pete.
Starts screaming some curse words at me, slaps me in my face.
Screaming, "My daughter," while scratching, strangling, and biting him. Deputies believe Stillwell was intoxicated.
It's like reliving a horror movie.
He wants to know why. We went to Stillwell's home for answers. The big question, why the attack happened on Saturday? No answer.
Uber, it is who I was driving for at the time, has not done a single thing.
Hassey Jr. says he's called Uber and is disappointed that no one has reached out. 8 on Your Side reached out on his behalf. An Uber spokesman responded saying, "What's been described is disturbing. Violence of any kind is not tolerated on the Uber app, and we immediately removed the rider's access as soon as this was reported to us."
My biggest takeaway is I'd stay away from Uber.
A welder by trade, Hassey Jr. says for him, driving Uber isn't worth the extra cash. And Stillwell was booked into jail on 2 felony charges. We spoke with some of her neighbors today who say this was very out of character for her. They say that she's a nurse, and we did check with the Florida Department of Health, and a woman by her name does have a nursing license. Reporting live in Pinellas County, Christine McClarty, 8 on Your Side.
Okay. Not a funny story, but there are some funny things about it. Before we get to the serious stuff, did you notice that a couple things? Number one, I used to work at Channel 8, actually, at WFLA. That was my first TV job, and that was years ago. It was like 1998. And it's so funny knowing what goes on behind the scenes, and that reporter does her little report from inside the car. And I know that, like, before the report started, she's like, "Oh, where should we go? How should I, do my report? Oh, let's do it inside the car. That'll look so good." So I thought that was funny. And then the story itself, you have this guy, right? This Uber driver, and it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. He's sitting there, and the woman's got her arm behind his, around his neck. He's going, "Ah!" And I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, where'd the video come from? I kind of think, was that staged? Because I don't think it was, right? But didn't I see people standing outside the car and stuff? So that was another thing I thought of when I was watching the story. And then the last thing I thought of was like, come on, dude. Really? You can't get out of that woman's chokehold? I mean, maybe she was really strong, It wasn't like it was a 250-pound, dude and had a choke, and then she wasn't even really grabbing him like with a really good chokehold. It was like by her wrist, you know. And then I go, he's seeking therapy and everything like that. And of course, that's the world we live in today. Everybody's seeking therapy for everything, right? Because no one can handle like any adversity. Anyway, but the story is that she was drunk, and you know, there's really little. What could you do about that situation, right? But there are a lot of situations, us Uber drivers, us Lyft drivers, us people in general, when it comes to people that drink too much and they're around us, whether we know them or they're just people that we see in public. Here's my real simple take on this, and then, you know, going to end the stream. But if you got this far, you might as well listen to the rest, right? When I drive Uber and I pick up drunk people, I certainly am not happy about it. I did a whole video on this, so you know, check out my channel and try to find the video about how to deal with drunk people. One of the biggest things I know about drunk people is they're very delicate. They can perceive a threat with just about anything you do. If you say the wrong thing, if you do the wrong thing, if you just look at them the wrong way, or if you don't answer their questions the way they expect you to, you know, they can flip in a second, you know. And one of the things that I try to do, well, first of all, what you can do as a driver of Uber or Lyft is just don't pick them up if they're too inebriated, right? But again, that's why they're calling, because they, you know, don't want to get behind the wheel of a car. So you kind of are obligated to a degree to pick up a drunk person, of course, unless they're being abusive or they're damaging your property or anything like that. So if you're going to drive a drunk person, and obviously it's not the type of ride we're looking for, when they're in your car, a couple things. Consider this. Number one, they're only going to be in your car hopefully for 20 minutes or less, and just get them to where they need to go. I'll tell you a pretty crazy story here in a second. Get them where they need to go. Just get there. Just put your head down and just get there. But that's not all that there is to it, especially if they're trying to engage in conversation with you. And one of the things that we do when we don't like being with people is we kind of tend to ignore them or just kind of blow them off. And it takes a particular type of personality to overcome your desire to just kind of, you know, cast them aside. But if you can, engage them, talk to them, keep them occupied, keep asking them questions, try to be like, you're so happy they're in your car. They are your best friend. You're like having the time of your life with them. And if you can just act like that is like the best moment of your life, then there's a really good chance that they're not going to bother you. They're not going to provoke you, or they're not going to perceive that you're somehow, some way annoyed with them. And you're probably going to get through the ride easier than if you start barking at them. Hey, you know, not interested in talking to you. You're drunk. You please keep your feet off the seat, whatever, which, you know, that's another thing about these types of rides. Sometimes you just got to let them do some of the things that you may not want them to do. If you have policies and you want to stick to them, that's great. Just realize that there's a better chance of getting into a confrontation with one of these types of people by putting your foot down over sometimes trivial stuff than there is just, you know, letting them do whatever they've got to do. Like, for instance, sometimes these people will get into my car and they'll bring a drink. And, you know, I guess I could get in trouble if I get pulled over, but there's such a little chance that I'm going to get pulled over. And then if I do get pulled over, it's kind of like, I didn't know the guy had the freaking drink in my car. And there's probably a really good chance the cop's going to be like, yeah, whatever, just, you know, get this guy home or whatever. So I just kind of put my head down and I, you know, just get through it. I let them do it to get through it. And that's my way of handling things. It's not everybody's way of handling things. But like I said, there's more chance that I'm going to get into a confrontation with a drunk over telling him he can or can't do certain things than if I just, you know, let it go. And then when they're in the car, just, you know, be as kind and courteous as possible, even though it's really hard, and there's less chance that you're going to have problems. Now, if they're doing damage to your car or they're, being abusive, then, that's not going to work, and you're going to have to possibly stop the car and get out of the car. And here's the story that I had. What's up, Blue Line? And you say, when no one says anything in chat, does it feel like you're talking to yourself? Yeah, but I'm really good at that. I talk to myself all the time. So, and like I said, some people will watch this after it's already streamed. So that's kind of cool. My story, I picked up these three people. It was a woman and two guys, and they were very drunk. And the woman in the back seat, they're in their 30s. She is flipping out. She's yelling at the two guys. I mean, she was so drunk and crying and angry and screaming and like punching the back of the seat. And we had a good 15-minute ride. And the guy in the front seat, who's also drunk, still had his wits about him. And the two guys, I guess it was a guy and his sister, and then the girl's boyfriend. And I could tell the guys didn't like each other a whole lot. But apparently their mother had just died, or had cancer, and she was going to die, I think is what it was. So he told me that that's what she was upset about. And halfway through the ride, it got so bad, she started banging her head against the back window glass. I mean, I thought she was going to bust the window out of my car. Now, at that point, a lot of drivers would have pulled over. A lot of drivers would have, told the chick to relax. And, that could have been fine. It could have worked out just great. But the way they were acting, I'm like, they're not going to take much from me. And I just need to be as kind and courteous as possible. I said some kind words. I said that I'd pray for her mother, and it helped a little bit. And then I got the guys home. They had two separate stops, and there was tension every step of the way. But what I did was I just got them home, tried to be as cool as possible, even said a little prayer to the good Lord above, please get me home. And, in the end, it worked out okay. And the cost of fixing the window that she busted wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm just kidding. She didn't break the window. But it seemed like she was going to, and that was a little crazy. That was crazy. And turns out, I have a camera in my Uber to capture my rides. I wasn't recording, which is probably better because I would have shared the video and then I would have felt bad. Who knows? These people might have seen the video and although that would have been a viral video, that really would have been a crazy video. So getting through a drunk ride is not easy, but do what you can so you can just get home. Just get home. And also have some protection in the car. And I don't mean the type of protection that you have so you don't have little bambinos running around. I'm talking about whatever it is you feel comfortable with using. I know Blue Line would agree with me on that. All right. It's time now for my debt clock update. Still working on it, making a lot of money. And other side jobs and everything. And there we go. We're down to 33,404. Be nice when we get down below 30,000. That would be amazing. Hey, make sure you subscribe. And remember, $1,000 at the end of 2021. I'm going to give it out. Yes, I am. $1,000. All you got to do is subscribe. And you comment on a few videos, and I will make sure you get $1,000 into your hand. That was a quick stream. Hope you guys got something out of it. If nothing else, I don't know. Can't think of nothing. Thanks, guys, for watching. Blue Line, Coco. Hopefully this stream will attract thousands of people one day. I don't care. It's okay. All right, God bless you guys. Thanks so much. See you later.